Welcome to the OGPOV universe. We'll be kicking game from an OG point of view. And check it out, man. Today we're going to talk about discipline. All right, discipline is part 1 of 5 of the OGPOV 5 keys to success. All right, so I was blessed to have some dope OGs growing up, man. You know, specifically in 9th grade, I was involved in a group called, the ISAA, International Student Athlete Academy. Shout out to the ISAA, shout out to Lowe, shout out to Joe Page, Fred Dukes, and those guys, man. This group really changed my life, and one of the things that they instilled in us is discipline. Okay, so I was able to play professional football, run a successful business for 10 years and counting. And one of the things that I use every single day is discipline. All right, so I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm not creating new concepts. This is simple, man. This is like literally step number 1 is you have to be disciplined. All right. So what is discipline? So I looked up the actual definition of discipline, and it says to train oneself to do something in a controlled and habitual way. All right. So to train oneself to do something in a controlled and habitual way. All right, so the word habitual, I was like, habitual, that word kind of stuck out to me, you know what I mean? So habitual means done or doing constantly or as a habit. All right, so that's the active word for habit. All right, habitual, that's the continuance of that. All right, so discipline and habits go hand in hand. They're kind of like brothers, cousins, however you want to think about it. But the more disciplined you are, the better habits you'll form. All right, so the better habits you form, the more opportunity you'll have to be successful. You know what I'm saying? This is real simple shit, but when you actually speak these things into your own life, you'll be surprised how much better quality of living you'll have. When it comes to discipline, once you start to move on some discipline type shit, you gotta really, it's on some really, you gotta really say fuck your feelings. Who gives a fuck how you feel? If you want to become a pro football player, you're gonna have to lift weights. You know what I mean? Who cares how you feel? I don't feel like doing it. No, that's not how it is. We're moving with discipline. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna have to be on time. You gotta study. You gotta be coachable. You gotta get good grades. You gotta pay attention. A lot of these things that you have to do every single day, it requires discipline. You know what I mean? To do something in a controlled and habitual way, it has nothing to do with how we feel in moments. Because on some real shit, it comes down to discipline or our feelings. It's either we're going to be, choose the discipline that we set for ourselves, or we're going to choose how we feel. So it's our higher self is the discipline that we set for ourselves, and our lower selves, our lower level of frequency is just how we feel. You know what I mean? And one of the things that keeps us sharp is, goal setting. We got to set goals, because it'll always bring you back to ground zero and remember why you're doing this. You got to set specific goals. Why? Why should I be disciplined? What's the driving motivator? What are we shooting for? What are we fighting for? Why? Is it money? Is it clout? Is it a certain lifestyle? Is it because other people are doing it? We got to be careful. You know what I mean? But, you got to start with a foundational why, because you don't want to do things just because other people doing it. That's not going to keep you dialed in. You know what I mean? You always want to have a foundational why, so we're purpose driven, so we're moving in the right direction. You see what I'm saying? Got to be intentional. Intent is key. You got to, people just don't become disciplined out of nowhere. It's an intentional practice over and over, day by day. And part of that, intent, once we start to move with intent, it becomes easy to sacrifice different things. It becomes easier to sacrifice a couple hours of sleep. If your goal is to get a better job, apply for a better job, you've been smoking all crazy, and that drug test is right around the corner. You might have to be disciplined enough to stop smoking for X amount of time. Secure the bag and then keep it moving. Keep rising. But we're going to have to sacrifice something. If it's sleep, it could be people. We might have to move people out of our life, but whatever we do, we got to be disciplined, man. So this was step number 1 out of 5, the OGPOV keys to success. Step number 1 was discipline. So just a quick cap Discipline is, to train oneself to do something in a controlled and habitual way. Habits are habits, good or bad. Make sure that we set goals, be intentional, sacrifice, and it's the ball's on our court, man. It takes an athlete 22 years to make it to the league. How long are you willing to practice discipline to reach the goals that you set forth for yourself? That's a fair question. Thank you for tuning into this episode. This is the first of 5, and stay locked in to all things OGPOV. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/OGPOV Universe, and all the other cool social media shit. All the information will be in the bio. Drop a like, share, subscribe, all that cool stuff, and stay tuned for episode number 2. We'll figure it out.